Assalamu alaikum and hi everyone. Today I'm going to be making chicken akhnee, which is a wonderful, amazing recipe that I've tried and tested over the years. Finally found a few recipes that I tweaked to my liking. So yeah, I'm just adding some boiling water to some rice to leave it to soak, and this helps to soften it and quicken up the cooking process. So first things first, I'm going to, by the way, with the rice, just leave it, forget about it, set it aside. You're only going to need it much later. First things first, I'm going to be dry frying my spices. I've got whole spices here, which are fennel seeds, cumin seeds, cardamom pods, peppercorns, cloves, as well as some cinnamon sticks. Now, this is something that is the base for most of my curries, and the reason is I like to wake up those spices that were kind of sleeping in your cupboard. So it wakes them up, draws out the oils, and this allows it to impart its flavor into your food. If you don't like seeing these whole spices in your food, you are welcome to, after it has dry fried in the pot, like you see here, you can take it out and you can just grind it up and it becomes a type of a garam masala. So all you do is you dry fry it for about 30 seconds. That's sufficient enough. You don't want to change the color or the texture of it. You don't want to burn it either. Next up, you're going to add a combination of ghee as well as coconut oil. I use a combination of both because of the flavor that they both give to food. So once your oils have melted, then you're going to add your onions in here. Now I've roughly chopped some onions. I have also cubed them and I've sliced them. This is basically just to show you that it doesn't matter even if you are a beginner for cooking or your first time, you can actually do this. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to have finely chopped onions. Don't worry about it. So you're going to leave this to actually get to a nice golden brown color. Don't leave it on such a high heat. I don't. I leave it on a number 4, which is like a medium heat. Most cooking needs to be on a medium heat. Unless you're boiling, then you can go on a high heat, okay? Leave that, set it aside and keep cooking it until it's that golden brown color, but check on it. In the meanwhile, I'm going to be sorting out my marinade for my chicken. So I'm adding in something called Sujee's memon akhnee masala, as you can see here. You might not be able to find it, which is perfectly fine. You don't have to use it. I just like using it because it just gives a good flavor to my food. What I do like using is ginger and garlic chili paste. If you can't find that as well, or you don't want to use the chili part because you're afraid it might be too spicy, you're more than welcome to leave this out and just use plain garlic and ginger that's ground up. I'm adding some vinegar here, which is really amazing. It gives a nice tang to the food, but it doesn't give you that vinegary taste, so don't worry about it. I'm putting in now also ground ginger and garlic just to show you that this is what it looks like. So you're going to mix all of this really nicely through. It coats all of that chicken. You can use the similar recipe for beef or lamb. So once my onions are nice and brown, as you can see in this picture, you can then add in your chicken. I'm adding in all the chicken here with the drops of moisture and liquid in there. And you allow this to cook for about 10 minutes or so. This will give it a nice gravy. You can add a little bit of water as well. And I also like to add in a bit of spice in this while it's cooking, which is the salt as well as chili powder. So as you can see, I'm going to, after a few minutes, I just added in the spices now. And this also helps with the color as well as the taste of it. So you want to salt your food as well. Oh yes, turmeric powder. How could I forget? That gives a very nice color. It's also anti-inflammatory, in case you look it up. Something we used to use in our kitchens as well when we were cut, and then you'll put some turmeric powder over and it actually stops the bleeding. Try it out. You'll be surprised. Anyway, as I was saying, I'm blending up some tomatoes here with some tomato puree, and that's going to go into the chicken in a few minutes. Then in the meanwhile, while the chicken's cooking, I quartered some potatoes, which I'm now going to fry. I've also coated the potatoes in some salt as well as some turmeric powder. So that's while it's frying. The chicken is now almost halfway cooked, and I'm adding in the rest of my ground up spices, which is also on the description box below, so you're welcome to have a look through that. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. Basically, you're adding your spices now, and then then you let that cook for about 5 minutes or so. Next, I'm adding in some tomato paste as well as a little bit of lemon juice, say about 2 to 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then I'm also going to be adding in some sour milk or buttermilk into this. If you don't have any of those, then you can make your own sour milk by just mixing some vinegar with some milk and leaving it to stand. I've added this now into the pot. That's the tomatoes and the sour milk, and you're going to mix this really thoroughly through and allow this to cook for about 5 minutes or so. Once that is done, and I'm going to be adding in the potatoes and as well as now some coriander that's chopped up, and I'm going to be adding in the rice, which is now I'm topping up with some water as well. So this is now the integral, most important part of all. You need to ensure that you do not have too much of water. If you have too much of water, it will actually end up just being soaked through and it will not dry out your akhnee. I'm also going to be putting in a bit of saffron water. That's entirely your choice. You don't have to put that if you don't have it, because it's quite an expensive spice. So as you can see here, I've just ended up just leaving it to steam, and that's the end result. As you can see, I'm serving it with some papad, some achar, and it's just utterly amazingly delicious. I promise you, it is such an amazing meal. It looks like a lot of complicated steps, but I guarantee you it's not. Please try it out. Follow the description, follow the method, follow the instructions on the description box, and I guarantee you will not go wrong and you will not mess this up. So I'm open to any questions. Enjoy this meal. I'm really going to enjoy it myself. This is something we definitely serve on a Friday. It's our Juma lunch. I also make it with beef. I make it with lamb. And you can also make it with fish as well, or you can make it with plain vegetables. I'm actually going to do a vegetable one quite soon. I've got a couple of friends of mine who are vegan and they need those type of recipes. So feel free to browse through the rest of my page and my channel. Please give a like. And oh yes, and this achar I just made about 2 days ago. I will let you know exactly how I made it. It is absolutely delicious and it's quite simple. It's basically 3 ingredients on it. So please give a like. Thank you. Bye.